Hello everybody and welcome to a deck building video with me and Eric about Arkham Horror the card game. Like with what we did with the Devil, which actually I want to just say your support on that video was insanely supportive. So thank you so much for that. You guys, the views were great, the comments were great. We're here again. I told Eric, choose a card to build around and we're going to build a deck around it just like we did with Devil. And Eric told me the card and I was like, Eric's cooking. I'm very excited to actually explore this. So Eric, I'll pass it to you. You tell me when to reveal the card and you can do your intro spiel and all that.
So I chose this card because, as any viewers who have ever heard me talk about anything to do with Arkham know, my obsession is with the Red Gloved Man. And my thought was, instead of playing the Red Gloved Man, what if you play a character who is the Red Gloved Man?
Okay,
What if you make your character into the Red Gloved Man? And the most iconic part of the Red Gloved Man, other than the red gloves, for me, is...
the knife.
Is the knife.
The knife.
Is a normal knife.
A normal knife.
That I want to get to a place where it can kill anything you need it to.
Okay. Okay.
Or at least I want to get it so that to the point that you're doing knife tricks that are almost supernatural.
All right. So there are a few things we can do for this. So for people who don't know with knife, people generally call this card the binder fodder. You use it for your proxies. You use it, put a paper piece in front of this when it's in a thing.
Yeah.
And for the most case, that is true, right?
Yeah.
There are times when you can play knives. So I can immediately give you two pitches for the knife.
Yeah.
Okay? They both are very different, all right? One of them is a Will Yorick deck.
I wondered if Will Yorick was going to come up.
Because you could discard the knife and play it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
The other one is a little bit more funky.
I want the funky one, because I don't want Will Yorick. I knew Will Yorick was going to come up, and I was like, we're not focusing on that aspect of the knife.
What about Amanda Sharpe? Here, I'll open you in a new window for her.
I think the fact that her name is Sharpe says enough.
So, yeah. So Amanda Sharpe, for you and people who don't know, she has 2s in all of her stats, which immediately means the knife is problematic. So we only get +1, we're dealing no extra damage.
Yes.
However, at the start of the investigation phase, you draw a card, you place it underneath her and discard the card that's already there. You then commit that card to each test you make. So, may I pose to you the possibility of an Amanda Sharpe deck that uses knife and she's Combat Amanda?
I love it.
Does that sound like we're cooking?
I think this sounds great.
All right. I do need to also just quickly check if we...
Have we already done it?
No. Where's your Devil deck? Because I don't know if we did level 0 and then also an XP one. I think we might have. Yeah, Preston... No, Preston the Blessed Goat, Preston the Evil Goat.
Yeah.
We built a level 0 deck out of it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing for this. Because we have the Evil Goat and then a level 0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then we actually did like a full-out thing. Okay, cool. So we're going to replicate that format here today. So, Amanda Sharpe, we're in this.
Okay.
We want knife.
We want knife.
We want knife.
We want at least 2.
Oh yeah, at least 2. Because this is our weapon. This is how we're fighting.
This is how we're fighting.
I will say, the hardcore Spike gamer in me says we need one other option.
I agree.
I'm going to just tell you what it is. It's nothing too fancy. It's not another weapon. Knife is our only weapon.
Yeah.
But I think we should do a cult lexicon. So after enter here, I'll go to the card page.
No, yeah. I remember Blood Right.
Yeah, so yeah, you know Blood Right.
Yeah,
so
we absolutely need Blood Right.
I think because then we can have a knife in one hand and a cult lexicon in the other hand.
Which is also very Red Gloved Man.
Yes. I think we also probably want to get the level 3 version. So what this does is you can change all the 2s to a 3 on the Blood Right, so it can be draw 3, discard up to 3, pay 1 for each damage, or draw a card.
Yeah.
Alternatively, you can keep it at 2 and it shovels back into your deck. So like we can use that as like in addition to the knife.
Yeah.
Because here's my working theory, okay?
Yeah.
To make the knife really pop off, I think what we need to do is when we can commit Vicious Blow 2 underneath Amanda, we can go absolutely nuts with it.
I agree. This was my hope.
Yeah.
I was hoping on focusing on ways to either upgrade the knife or ways to use specialty cards to be able to build.
So, yeah, like, we're not, like, our plan is we only discard the knife if we have another knife in hand.
Exactly.
And Amanda can churn through her deck really quick.
Perfect.
So we can maybe do that multiple times. But my plan to fit your plan is that we are not using it like looping the knife. We're just stabbing with the knife and making it better.
Yeah.
So we're going to go Vicious Blow. We're going to go Overpower.
And we can take all these as Amanda?
Yeah,
because I was going to ask if we could find a character who can go Guardian, but also yellow.
She's practiced, yeah. So she can take practice 0 to 2.
Brilliant.
So there's like a meme deck where Amanda's like a combat fighter, because Amanda's, if you play her to her peak, she's probably the strongest investigator in the game. So like even a Mimi Amanda fighter deck can actually be really, really good. Because like,
sick.
so like I'm gonna just paint a picture, right?
Yeah.
So she commits the card underneath her every turn, right? So it's gonna be less good with this, but can you imagine if you were able to do this 3 times and you succeed by 2 or more?
Yeah.
So like people do it with like this perception too. So you're already investigating. You're usually investigating like 8 to 3. You draw 6 cards a turn. Like that's really
absurd.
good.
That's absurd.
However, we don't get that privilege.
No, we're not doing that.
Because we have to build around our fist, and there's a lot less passive fist boosts in the survivor class, in the seeker class, but they exist, so we can try to find them. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up combat. Okay. Dissection tool. So it takes up a hand slot, so it competes with the knife and the lexicon.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to give us enough.
No, I mean the +1 fist boost is nice.
That is nice, but I don't think it's quite worth it.
But we're going to bookmark it because there's some stuff we can do. All right, let's look at the level 1 to 5 because we do have scientific theory, which is just a passive boost that we can get to our book and our fist. There also is Michael Lee. He could be our ally.
He does have the hat.
He does have the hat, yeah. There's no hat item, unfortunately, because most investigators already have the hat. Downside is he does cost 5 experience. We're probably going to want 2 of them, just so we can find him. Albeit we can also rely on just finding him through other means. Because paint me a picture. So I'm gonna ask a question. We're gonna we're gonna build on flavor. This is a fun thing to do in this.
Yeah.
Does the red glove man travel alone in your mind, or does he have like?
No, he's got the he's
part of the coterie.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what we could do is we could kind of build around that. We could play like a laboratory assistant. After an ender's play, increase your hand size by 2. Draw 2 cards after an ender's play. And we could do things like calling in favors to return an ally in play and then search the top 9.
Very thematic.
Yeah, we could do that as an option. Because once again, if we're looking at combat, and we can also look, but you can only play skills in the other classes. So, like, there isn't many options for that.
No.
Okay. Because most of the time, when people are using Combat Amanda, they're building around this.
Oh, okay.
But we're not doing around. We're not doing that. We're
Nope.
not doing that.
Nope.
We're having fun with other stuff. I do believe.
Do we have any cards that can upgrade a weapon? Anything that you can slap on top of a weapon?
No, that's pretty much in the Guardian class.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the Guardian class.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think this is a more exciting build for it.
Yeah.
Because Amanda's also one of the best users of the Red Glove Man.
That's funny.
Like, so I think replicating that in her is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I think we probably look into that Michael guy.
Yeah, I think Michael, and then, like, Michael Lee.
And is there a way we can gain an extra hand slot so we can play with dissection tools?
Do I have the guy for you? He's not good. But he's Dr. Charles West. You have 1 additional hand slot, which you only use to hold a tool asset. And then after you successfully investigate by 1 or 3 exhausted. So the plus side, so the issue with both this and Michael Lee is that they kind of both put you in the flex category. They want you to also investigate. However, I think we could build this as a flex deck, right? That Amanda like holds her knife, and then when it's time, she goes, right? Like we could, I think there's nothing wrong with that as a flavor type thing, right?
I mean, and that does also fit the Red Glove Man, because I mean, one important thing to know about the Red Glove Man is the Red Glove Man is always depicted as investigating.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, where he's holding up looking at the map next to the door, and he's like, this is the door.
Or he's like climbing up the stones.
Yes, yeah. Holding the key in the air, being like, I found the key!
I believe that was him as well, yeah.
It was, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I did a lore video on all the coterie members, and there's a lot more pictures of the Red Glove Man than I remember there being. So we could do this, like, just for the tool asset, right? But we also could do Michael Lee. Michael Lee will lean us more, so Michael Lee leans us more towards combat, and Dr. Charles West III leans us more towards flexing. I do like the idea of the dissection.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of the dissection tools. that's kind of just fun, but at the same time, it's very slow.
Yeah, I think we actually go with Michael Lee in this case.
All right, so we'll do Michael Lee. We're going to run him as a 1 of, though, to start, I think.
Yeah.
And then we will get Laboratory Assistant. We'll get that Calling in Favors. 2 of those. And then we probably want, like, 1 more ally.
Probably.
The other one that, like, oh, no, we just got Research Librarian. Grab, like, a 1 of Research Librarian. That helps us find a tome.
Yeah, which is great for our book.
Yeah. And I think that's probably enough, because these are kind of basically just existing to find...
To fetch.
Yeah. And the nice thing about Amanda, for people who don't know, you're not always going to have, like, the perfect skill to commit to a test. So you're going to want to... have things that sometimes you're like, I need to put a card underneath her just because this is kind of like a dud turn, right?
Yeah.
So like things like Laboratory Assistant and Research Librarian are going to be okay for that. All right, let's go back to combat. We probably want these scientific theories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just want 2 of those. Okay.
What's Mind Over Matter do?
You add your book to your... I mean, that honestly is not a terrible idea. It's like one of those things where you can use it for like a +2. If we're doing the fight, it's like not terrible. So we can put a pin in that one. Like basically giving like +2. It's like committing... Like if we do that with an overpower turn, we get +5.
Yeah, which puts us to the 6 that we want.
Yeah.
And then 7 with knife.
No, so it'll put us up to 8.
Yeah, that's right.
So like that's a very comfortable number.
Yeah.
I think that's not a terrible idea, to be honest. I've got a plan uses books and clues, so we don't want that for this deck, I don't think. But I think Mind Over Matter ain't terrible. The only problem is the level 0 version doesn't do anything in comparison to this.
So it's like it's a later card.
Yeah. But okay, we want to probably grab a few more skills.
Yeah.
Anything that has wilds on them is probably good.
Yeah, because we want to have the wilds to be able to commit.
Oh, and we probably also want Practice Makes Perfect.
Oh, and that Esoteric Method looks so good.
Yeah. The only problem is it does add curse tokens.
Which is, I think, very fitting for the Man in Black.
In that case, I'm going to make an executive decision, as I always do. Blasphemous Covenant always goes very hard if you have any curse tokens in your deck. Just run it so you keep yourself safe. Double so in this deck because we need to not die.
Yeah.
Like our tests aren't great. We could do Fae. Let's see some level 0 skills in every class. Long shot. Promise of Power can be an option.
Promise of Power, I mean, should be in there.
So we could do Promise of Power instead of Esoteric Method because it's kind of the same thing.
I mean, why not have both?
We could have both. So the thing is, we only have if we drop Esoteric Method, we can probably drop Blasphemous Covenant, and we're basically getting 4 more experience to put in.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
It could be an option, yeah. Because then we can drop this. So if people ask, but Promise of Power puts in curse tokens. If you look at Esoteric Method, it's for each point you succeed by or fail by.
Yeah.
Promise of Power, to just show how fucking broken it is, it's just 1 curse token
Just
no
one.
matter what. So we'll put that in there. Then we get some experience back.
Yeah.
And we also can look at the practice skills of this other stuff, too. Oh, she gets up to level 3. That's crazy. That could be a good option. It's very nice at Amanda. Because once again, we're trying to look at, like, how do we fight most efficiently.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. How do we get there?
Yeah. Well, also still, like, we could do this card. We'd have to put the... Actually, we probably shouldn't because we don't have the experience for also Blasphemous Covenant.
Yeah.
But, like, that's a very...
Oh, yeah, I see, yeah.
and also, there is a ruling right now. It's not in the FAQ, so we don't follow it for people who might be curious. There's a ruling now where if an effect is force, you don't have to pay additional costs. Which means in Amanda, this is just, if it's underneath her, it's just pass 3 tests. But that, I think, is subject to change and is not the official way that it works until it's 100% confirmed it's the official way that that works.
Yeah, that's fair.
But we could put, I think, flavorfully, a one of these could be really fun.
It almost makes me want to reconsider Michael Lee.
Okay.
And switch out Michael Lee for Herbert West. And then consider...
For Charles West, yeah.
Yeah, for Charles West. And then consider... instead of Promise of Power, going Blasphemous Covenant. And so going for a very cursed token deck.
Okay.
Along with the knife.
I'm down for it. So we'll keep Promise of Power. We'll also do Esoteric Method.
Yeah. Because those are all things that you can add under her, right? Because they're skills.
Yes. I mean, you could put anything under her. You can put anything under her, but skills get the bonus when you play them.
But that means we have potentially 4 cards, technically 6 cards, including Justify the Means, potentially, that allow us to basically win.
All right, I'm going to put the dissection tools back in.
Okay.
I think we still want the occult theory as well, the scientific theory.
Yeah.
The fist boost is very important to that. Yeah. Okay.
Do we only want 1 Justify the Means then?
We might run 2. It's a lot of experience. That's the only thing I'm thinking. Okay, this card's very good in Amanda, so I think we probably should play it. It's insane card draw.
Yeah.
And because we've lost the Cullinan favors, this is going to be a good way of doing it. This deck, I'll tell you right now, even though like the knife side's really broken, is really bad, I think this deck will still perform because it's an Amanda deck, and like if you can just like make it work in other ways, it's very, very powerful.
Well, hey, to me, that's perfect, because that was the Red Glove Man flavor I wanted. Yeah. I either wanted a super knife or a character who's just like, I'm going to use this knife because I'm amazing.
Yes. All right, so we could do the second Justify the Means.
That puts us to a lot of experience.
But let me just tell you, let me just show you some stuff.
Okay.
All right.
There is Gaze of Arash.
All right, I'll let you read that card if we're wanting to go around curses, and let me know what you think of this.
Oh, it's so good.
It's also Amanda in the art.
It is. Yeah, I think we put that in.
All right, so we have to cut a card. Alternatively, we can just play everyone's favorite card in the thick of it and just get 2 extra XP, which is nice because it also gives our deck a little bit of a starting point as well.
Yeah.
Which is great because I think we take like 2 Unrelentings and then like 1 Esoteric Method. Because I'll tell you what, this deck's going to suck in turn 1, in scenario 1.
It is.
But once you get some XP going in here, all right, so we get 2 more XP. Let's look at the skills again, because that's kind of where we want to live.
Well, wait, how much experience do we start with? Like, how much experience are we...
3. We start with 3 XP, because I'm in the thick of it.
Okay. Maybe Gaze of Arash is not actually a good call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here, why don't we look at... Just all the damage. Vicious Blow. All right, no, nothing in there that we want. Okay, back to skills. Okay, I mean, I think all of this is still pretty sound.
I guess if we're doing flex, though, we do need to also think about what are we doing to investigate decently well.
Can we just put in 2 perception 2s?
I think so.
And just go 5 to, like, 2 shroud locations?
Yeah.
Like, we're flexing, but not, like, that much.
No.
We're, like, flexing out of, like, opportune. All right, let's look at our curve, by the way. So, I mean, in a perfect world, we're playing this, that, this, that. Like, we really are looking at, like, 7 resource spread, and then everything else goes into Occult Lexicon.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how much more do we need? Because to me, the answer is probably not that much. Because we're looking at 4... Oh, and also Practice Makes Perfect, which only costs 1. And I always say, well, 1 resource isn't free. You have a plan for 1 resource.
Yeah.
Right? We could maybe find... Let's look at resource. We're actually going to look at this in the level 0 version, I think. Like, we could just, like, worst case, just grab an e-cache.
I mean, sure, but I want to go back to those other ones, because some of those feel flavorful. So what's Cryptic Writings do?
If you draw it during your turn, you play it. Which we probably will draw it, because we have 6 skills that draw 2 cards on average. We could do it.
We could do it.
I think it's. I mean, worst case, it's just 2 resources. Worst case, it's just 2 books, which we can put under Amanda to investigate it for.
Yeah. And then what's Astounding Revelation?
That is a build around, or
okay.
searching your deck, which we're doing with Practice Makes Perfect, but not enough.
Not quite the same.
All right, we still have 2 experience we can put into this deck. What do we do with that?
Maybe we do put a Gaze of Arash in there.
Potentially. I don't think it's terrible. Let's see if anything else jumps out at us, though.
Yeah.
Especially if we have names like Glimpse the Unthinkable. I mean, that card is pretty gas.
Yeah. And it's another one that we can put under there to potentially gain experience on.
Yep.
And it's card draw, which we don't have currently.
No, we actually have tons. We have Unrelenting.
Oh.
So that can draw 6 cards a turn. Perception can draw 6 cards a turn. Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, our card draw is actually, yeah. It's different with Amanda, though. It's not like traditional.
Yeah.
Because, like, the thing is that for people at home, this is mostly to them, is that you play this card, if you can get this card 3 times, like, that's really good. Speaking of, sorry, I'm also going to put in a shortcut.
Thank you. I wanted to put this card in because I was thinking Red Glove Man
when you see it, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to get a close-up on his hands.
We do. I think they're gloved.
They might be. Okay, then we have, I mean, in a perfect world, I'd love to find, like, 2 1 experience cards, or we could do Gaze of Arash. I also do think the Mind Over Matter is still not a bad option either.
Yeah.
I think that is actually pretty playable. It works really well with Scientific Theory because then we get +3.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, functional, I think that might be the choice.
I think so.
For functionality.
Yeah.
And then we just have like a 1 of. You know what, let's look if there's any skills at level 0 in our off classes that fill a hole.
What does Prescient do?
Nothing in our deck, unfortunately.
No. Yeah. What's Torrent of Power?
I gotta spend charges, but it is sick as hell.
I mean...
We don't have charges to spend, though.
That's true. Downside. Nope.
But maybe we can find something that's like... Another wild skill would probably go hard.
Yeah, I'm thinking so.
There's not many great options.
I mean, Fighting Lessons isn't the worst.
It's not the worst.
As a thing to just throw under your character.
Yeah. It's just a 1 of. Yeah, it does take her to, what, 5? Sure, let's do it just for consistency's sake. It's probably worth it. It is practice, too. Like, what we want is we always want to hit a practice skill with our Practice Makes Perfect. Which we will, because we have 15 of them. All right. Amanda is the Red Glove Man. Now, we are missing a few cool cards.
Yeah.
That are like, it's a survivor card that sets your stats to 6. Like, that is like the flavor of the Red Glove, like the function of the Red Glove Man. But I think the flavor of this is pretty sick. I definitely think like you could make like a more try-hard, but I mean, we didn't start this as a try-hard deck.
We didn't start this as a try-hard deck.
So now what we will do is we will build the level 0 version like we did last time. So how did I do this? Yeah. So level 0, and then we just did 1st, 2nd, 3rd experience.
All the way to 5th.
All the way to 5th, okay. Bear with me as I just put this over here. We can use that as a thing.
Yeah, totally.
Clone this shit. All right. Amanda is the Red Glove Man. Level 0. Okay.
So we've only got 3 experience.
Yeah. The Occult Lexicon is easy. We can put that in as a level 1. Yeah, so we have 3 experience. So, I mean, this also carries over.
Yep.
Vicious Blow. Overpower and Perception can also carry over, which is really nice. Basically, right now, people were just looking for the 1-to-1 transfers.
Yeah.
I like to find things that are close.
What about Unrelenting?
Unrelenting is going to stay.
Okay.
I think that's a really nice first of our first 3 experience. I think we also keep 1 Esoteric Method.
Yeah.
And then we're going to just play Inquiring Mind as the other one, because it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
It has a thing, but I mean, like, it'll actually function, like, probably for the majority of it. Only downside is, I mean, Mind Over Matter, there's a level 1 version. But it doesn't really do anything.
What does it do? Let's see it.
In comparison, it replaces your book. It's like your book instead.
Oh, yeah, that's not going to help us.
So what I'm going to say we do is we take this Mind Over Matter, and we actually just add in another fighting lessons.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they're kind of just each adding 2 to a test, but 1 is replacing itself.
Yeah. I also almost want to suggest, what was that one card you said we were adding a 1 of? Inquiring Mind?
Yeah.
I almost want to suggest we use a second Inquiring Mind to get rid of Justify the Means.
I think that's super solid and a great idea. I think that's really smart. Blasphemous Covenant doesn't have a comparison. That's just something we're going to have to pick up once we get more curse loaded.
Yep.
Scientific Theory also doesn't really have a comparison. So we have to ask ourselves, what is this card doing? It's just giving us static boosts, which we don't really have anywhere else.
But it's also giving us some soak.
It's giving us some soak.
But we don't really care about that. We more care about that boost.
Yeah. This is a great question of what this card should be. All right. I think I know what it should be. I think it should... Oh, but it's going to be... I mean, honestly, I think Scientific Theory is going to be the first 6 XP we add to our deck.
Yeah.
So I'm going to suggest we do Field Work. It's kind of similar, where it's going to give us a stat boost for 1 test. It's not like a great direct translation, but I think it's like the closest thing we have to it. So I think we just do that.
Yeah, it's going to hurt to pull Field Work, but...
Yeah. Okay. And then, let's do some notes. All right, let's see if I remember what this is. Is it like this? It is.
It is.
So good. My brain can still remember things, even though I'm a decroded 35-year-old
The
man.
word is not decroded.
No, I'm decroded. It's a Judaism.
I love it.
Same with chunced.
Chunced.
Yeah, it's just when something's just fucked up, you're like, oh, that's chunced.
I love it. I love decroded more.
I do. It is pretty good. All right, so ×2. I think we do want the Scientific Theories first.
Yeah.
Scientific Theories 3. Removing ×2 Field Work.
Yeah. That's the biggest upgrade we get.
Yes, I think it definitely, and it's also, I think, kind of the thing that's it's not gonna help us be the most efficient, because again, this deck, admittedly, if you're playing this one, is going to be like slightly less efficient than you actually want it to be. That's just the reality. Let me just quickly open up the actual XP version, because we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
All right. I think we want to call Lexicon pretty quick.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be in the second batch.
Because that's going to help us fight.
Yes. I think also we kind of want to get our Overpowers and Vicious Blows going. Overpower 2, Vicious Blow 2. I think that's kind of like, again, as I always say for people watching at home, adapt. Adapt to what you feel the deck is doing. Adapt to like how you're feeling like the scenarios are going. This is just kind of like a suggestion for where to put your experience in batches.
Yeah. Which makes me think, based on that, then our next step is to probably get our second Esoteric Method and our Justify the Means. Yeah.
And then we'll also batch Blasphemous Covenant with this, because they also kind of come together. So ×1 Esoteric Method, ×1 Justify the Means, ×1 Blasphemous Covenant. 2, I should put the experience on these, because I've been doing it for the others. Removing, what is it, ×2 Field Work.
No, you already did that.
Oh, ×2 Inquiring Mind. That was the other one.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we have left? We have Perceptions,
We have,
Mind Over Matter, and that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of like where the last batch is. 4th experience, ×2 Perception, 2 times 1 mind over matter 2.
Your perception spelled wrong.
You don't spell perception?
Is this another? Is this? Is it?
That's not a Julian.
It just looks chunced to me.
Fighting lessons. All right. And I think that's all of it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Save that shit. Oh yeah.
My next deck request is 100% going to be how do we build a Yithian?
Okay.
Using all Yithian and alien themed cards.
Yeah. Probably a Mystic, I'd wager.
Maybe.
We're doing a challenge right now where we have to play as Yithians, and it's honestly a nightmare. It's honestly, like, I don't want to say the worst Arkham experience I've had because it's been very fun, but it's a very tough challenge.
I believe
it's
it.
A very tough challenge.
I believe it.
Honestly, Eric, I think this is a great idea. I think the deck would be very fun to play. I think I'd want to play it in 3 players.
Mm-hmm.
Not 2 players. I think it'd be a little bit demanding, and I think you'd feel the weaknesses a bit more. But honestly, Amanda somehow has a way to work. So I actually honestly would like... I would try this deck out.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it happen.
I think this deck would be a very interesting and good time. You can find a link to these down in the video description. Thank you for the idea, Eric. We'll do a Yithian. So because the only problem with a Yithian is that they actually don't have deck building.
Yeah.
So like...
But what's the flavor of Yithian?
Yeah.
What is a Yithian flavored character?
I mean, I could ask a custom content creator to design us a backside of a Yithian that they think could maybe work, and we can see if we could maybe do something with it. Because I think that could be fun.
That's me asking.
Maybe I'll throw a message to Beard to see if Beard wants to cook something up for us. Because Beard makes some good shit. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. This was a fun video. I had a good time with this. I love it. I think you cooked up something neat. And I love looking at Amanda experience skill pile because it's just like a million cards, different colors. It's great. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.